Da 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 da! What's my good chair? Welcome, welcome, everybody. I am suited. I am geared for this Manitoba weather. I tell you, everybody is just yapping, yapping, yapping about the terrible weather all over this country. And here in Manitoba, it just feels like we're stepping into winter. And it's a extremely actually mild day today. It's only minus 17 Celsius here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I'm looking forward to getting outside, connecting with that little bit of Mother Nature that's between here and the bus stop, right? And I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to let the guilt and shame come to the surface because I spent 3 days, right? Rather than, well, maybe a half an hour running off to the store. But I spent 3 days in my apartment getting projects done, taking in the lessons, in contemplation, making some moves for myself, hopefully some moves that will serve me well, but also at the end, right? Maybe possibly serve others at the same time. And if not at the same time, somewheres along the line. This week we got this word enthusiasm, and I thought maybe we talk a little bit about the enthusiasm that I bring to that job that puts the roof over my head. He said, "That's just you're on bigger missions, Cindy. You're right." But in that, I have to understand that we all have to start somewheres. And starting in my life, I have that opportunity in that interaction with the people I work for, the people I work with, and the customers, the clientele, that all of that is a playground for me. All of that is an opportunity, truly an opportunity, because we never know where there's where those opportunities come from. I have people say to me all the time, "Oh my goodness, I just cannot believe your energy." Right? You're just like the most amazing, perfect person for this job, right? And it's not even my dream job. Some of it is a little bit of my work ethics, right? Like always showing up, taking responsibility for my ship. My ship. Well, it is my ship, right? Because it's dictated by myself. People are making their movement under that, while foreseeing what the stumbles could be or what the potential to get accomplished in that shift can be. And so, I have to make sure that I am up to the challenge. And part of that being up for the challenge is to make that job that puts the roof over my head my priority, where all my enthusiasm goes to. I love my job. It's a great job, and I am grateful to have a job that encourages me to bring up some of those talents that I have, talents in customer service, right? In understanding people's needs, right? And actually being able to fulfill those needs to the best of my ability, right? That problem solving. It is, what's there was a quote, Obayach Khayyam. What did he say? We are all but one link, right? And it is true. And it is in that chain, right? And in steel, there is different amounts of metals, different combinations, and unless you are a master metal worker, right? Not all of those links are going to have equalness in strengths, right? But we have to make sure that, the link next to it is able to recognize the shortcomings in its link beside it and pick up the slack, right? Pick up the slack, or maybe in that being that one link, that there is a solution, that another link down the road, right? And I'm not saying technically the link, but that link could be a person, that link could be a family member, that link could be a coworker. That link could be a YouTube video, a how-to YouTube video, and that is the truth. So, in looking at enthusiasm, I'm going to work. I have 4 days, and I'm going to be pooped at the end of those 4 days. And not only pooped, I'm going to need my first day of my set of days off that I've come to just recognize why I'm so bagged on Monday, why it takes absolutely every ounce of energy for me to even just get out of my chair. It's because I spend it all, right? In that appreciation of actually having a roof over my head that allows me to have that time to rearrange my life, that I can make some good choices for myself, that I could actually, right, not worry about who's going to need me or what's going to fall apart or somebody's going to give me a call and say somebody didn't show up, that I'm actually able to consistently, right, put myself and plant myself and take in lessons or uproot myself and get things done that will, right, make some movement forward today, right? I had a few things on the list that I wanted to get accomplished, but knowing after my first days off that it was going to be a little bit of a struggle. And yet, here I am starting my week with all those things accomplished. Why? Because I just had to wait at them the best that I could, right? Every time I had one of those ADHD moments where I had to go up and focus on something else, I focused on something else that needed to get checked off that list, those things that I needed to accomplish that helps this well oiled machine, right? Keep running the way it does. Which reminds me, it's time for a vitamin. So I usually say, well, what do you think I'm going to take today? But I think today I'm going to just take a multivitamin. And when it comes to multivitamins, I like this one because this one is for cardiovascular, which in my family there is heart disease, and right there is a tendency to have weaknesses in those parts of our systems. And I'm grateful for my good health, but I take precautions, right? But it's also for the cognitive support, right? Which is this, which it keeps us bright, keeps us with that energy, keeps us right from having those ADHD moments. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. That one was get the bill down. And that one was just for the joy of it. I do make a good cup of coffee. I'm a connoisseur of coffee. I drink a lot of coffee, right? I could probably do to drink other things, and I do. I do introduce, but it's my main beverage, and right, I gonna respect that choice just like I respect anybody else's choice, right? Because we can look down on anybody else's choice, whether you like that big glass of milk or you like those power drinks or you like Coca-Cola, right? That those are somebody else's choices, right? We only have control out of our own choices, right? The things that we can, right, make a movement forward, where we can make a judgment on, which is only on ourselves. We can only make those decisions for ourselves 100%. And it takes all kinds to make the world, right? I know what a Coca-Cola tastes like, right? It tastes amazing. And if I could afford to drink Coca-Cola every day, maybe I would drink Coca-Cola every day. But instead I drink my coffee with my coffee mate because I have issues with the dairy, even though I love dairy. And I'm cutting back in the little baby steps that I can because I'm still eating the ice cream. I'm still eating the yogurt. I'm still eating the cheese. But it is in my efforts. I'm making small changes. I do it in baby steps and I do it in little runs. Some of those runs that I'm doing right now, is the ice cream, right? It's wintertime. It's a good thing to get the habit of buying ice cream out of my system, right? And, if I can do that and spring and summer comes, right? Maybe I have a shot in being able to carry on that idea of not eating ice cream well into summer. That's going to be a challenge, right? First person walking down the sidewalk with an ice cream cone, I'll be looking for the first Dairy Queen 100%. But it is in those efforts, right? And at very least, recognizing where our weaknesses are, that, just the fact that I'm keeping the cream out of my coffee is something, right? Sometimes we can't take those great big giant steps, but we can do the small ones in that direction. And a truth is, from my own experience, that I know that if at least I can move in that direction, at least if my system knows that we're going in that direction, right? There's that possibility of getting a helping hand. And I've had that come into my life many, many, many times. And even in today, in some of those small detailings of some of those things that I wanted to accomplish, right? Some of those things that I thought I was such a procrastinator on. Some of those things that I could have allowed the guilt and shame to come to the surface and say, oh my goodness, Cindy, you planted yourself in that chair. What did you get done? You would be surprised in my nothingness, in my emptiness, of how much I could get accomplished. And that is a truth. That is a truth for me. And I smile at that because I don't know if I'm just realizing or recognizing it now. I've thought of that before. I've thought of that before. Just the idea of, being able to have a list of things that you want to get accomplished on your set of days off, and then think you're not getting anything done. And then at the end of it, right? My house is clean. The laundry is done. The lessons have been taken in. A couple of those official duties that we don't like to do, they're taken care of, right? One of them might have been last moment, but it got done. It got done. And why does that matter? It's because today is the day that I go back to work. This is the day that enthusiasm for, right, whatever I have, that priority and that enthusiasm, it goes into my job. That enthusiasm goes into making new customers, having good conversations, listening to my regulars, seeing what they need, and whether it's a new outfit or, right, just a kind ear to listen to their woes of their weeks or their yays of the weeks. And the more yays that I can hear, the better. To make those connections with those that I resonate with, which are my resellers, the entrepreneurs, right? And they come in, and one out of three of my customers is a reseller, and right, they're important too. And when we think of conflict, I think of those customers are just coming in to look for a nice ornament, and then they're doing a little bit of a tug of war with another person who's a reseller and just wants it because they want to sell it, right? My talent is be able to kind of swim inside of that to resolve a conflict there. And the object goes home with the person that it was meant to go home with, right? Not who was more deserving of it, who could afford it, who saw it first, who had it first, right? That's out of my hands, right? I can only make the decisions in that moment. My decisions would probably be to resolve it as fast as I can, probably with just a good question or a little bit of kindness, right? A little bit of that um, influence, right? Because if I recognize, right, really who it should go, if I'm any good at my job, it will go with whoever it was meant to go with, right? But these are the things, right? I'm pleasing my bosses. I'm pleasing the people that I work with. I'm also, right, being a participant and a team player in that. And it's part of my life. It's part of the humanness in me, right? And I get to express the person that, well, that I am in the moment and the person that I'm becoming, right? Because the person that I was when I left work on Sunday is not the person who's coming back to work on Thursday. I'm a different person. It's usually how it works, right? But hopefully I am a better person, and I hope my enthusiasm, right, that I feel right now carries me well through the next 4 days, and carries me well because at the same time, I'm still going to be showing up here tomorrow, aren't I? Right? And that enthusiasm still got to come into the brand too. And it's got to be felt by the people who come into the brand. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. Let's get one foot in front of the other, right? With a few kindnesses, right? A good ear, some good intent, and a little bit of the physical energy. And it'll all come together. And those 4 days will be over, right? Uh, Faster than what I thought they would have, right? And we'll be right back into it. And then we'll be right back into it, right? It's one of them swinging doors in a restaurant, back and forth, the waitress, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. We'll see each other tomorrow. Bye. Cindy.